We are back. Dave is here. I'm here.
You're here?
It's been a couple weeks. We took a mini hiatus mainly because I was moving. Had a lot going on and haven't been able to do a show in a couple weeks. But we're back today. I got a weird background today. It's a temporary one because I'm transitioning to a new apartment.
In a new city.
In a new city. That's right. But yeah, just a temporary background today. It's got some weird shit in the back, but that's all right. But we're going to talk some hoops. The NBA is in full swing, obviously. We're about 15 games in the season for most teams. And there's been some surprises. There's been some disappointments. And then there's the Toronto Raptors, which are like on a whole nother spectrum of terrible. But we're not going to talk about them today. Tough loss.
God, thank God.
Tough loss against Boston.
I know. You know, they played great. I mean, they should have won the game.
But this has been the story of the season. They outplay a team for 46 minutes, and then they just fuck up two possessions down the stretch, and they lose the game.
Or it goes into overtime,
or it goes into overtime.
Jason Tatum hits a buzzer beater at in overtime.
Right. I was watching. I was watching the game with my friend last night, and I literally said, "I'm like RJ's." When it was tied, I'm like, "RJ's gonna go to the basket, get fouled, miss a layup. There's gonna be no call, and then Tatum's gonna go down and hit a three and win the game." And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Anyway, we're not doing the Raps today. We're doing this on a Sunday afternoon.
Even though we just did.
A little bit. So we're doing this on Sunday afternoon. So, the records of the teams we discussed might change. They'll probably be out either Monday night or Tuesday. But, the general idea of these teams, I think we have the idea. So why don't we start with our surprises of the year?
Okay.
And we have to start with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, undoubtedly.
So
14-0.
14-0 at the time of we're recording this. That could change this evening. They play Charlotte, so they'll probably be 15-0. And, Cleveland's one of those teams, they've been around for a couple of years, right? They've been sort of in that 4 to 6 seed range, a good team.
Very good team, but
not a championship team.
Yeah.
But this year it seems like they have completely taken a step up. And they're a legitimate contender. I mean, they're going to be 15-0 potentially tonight. Here's their numbers. Here's what their statistical profile. First in points, 7th in pace, first in field goal percentage, 3rd in 3-point field goal percentage. First in field goal percentage, first in 3-point field goal percentage, 3rd in total threes made. I mean, the only they're not a very good rebounding team, which is surprising because they have Mobley and
Allen
and Jared Allen. But I think it's more of a sort of
collective rebounding.
Well, it's like some teams intentionally punt, like they're last in offensive rebounding, right?
Right.
And a lot of teams choose not to crash the boards.
Because they want to get back.
Because they want to get back on defense. So it's a bit of a philosophical thing that Kenny Atkinson is doing. But 5th in assists, 2nd in assist percentage, 5th in steals. They're 1st in true shooting percentage, 1st in offensive rating, 6th in defensive rating. I mean, like, this team is the best team in the league right now. And
it's the best team in the franchise's history. I was reading today that 14-0, Cleveland, it's the first time that a Cleveland team has been 14-0. They've done it 3 times at 13-0, and all those 3 teams had LeBron on it. And the only other team to go 14-0 at the start of a season was Golden State when they went 73-9. So, I mean, they're on that path, Eddie, to greatness maybe. And you said it earlier. There's 2 words that who's responsible for it. Kenny Atkinson. It's his style. It's of coaching. His system. They just bought into it, man. And there's a lot of cutting, a lot of movement, a lot of heavy emphasis on threes, obviously. It's amazing what he's done.
Well, I mean, like, look, you could see in all those stats that I laid out. I mean, like, they're top 5 in pretty much every important category. And we always say if you where you want to be, if you're a true contender, if you're top 5 or at least top 10 in offensive and defensive rating, then that is like, I mean, you can go back and look at any great team, any championship team. I guarantee you they were in the top 5 in offensive defensive rating. It's just kind of, if you want to be a title contender, it's where you need to be. And like I said, 1st in offense, 6th in defense, they're right there. In terms, they profile as a title contender. And, You're right. I think Kenny Atkinson deserves a lot of credit, but I mean, Donovan Mitchell's been playing his
Oh
ass
my
off.
God, he's been playing his ass off.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Like here, the thing also, like, the fit with Darius Garland has been clunky in the past couple of years. Like it's a little bit of like my turn, your turn kind of an offense.
Hmm.
But this year they're playing much better off of each other, and it
Yep.
looks much more coherent on the court. Evan Mobley has taken a step defense,
Now he's
particularly on the
hurt.
defensive end.
He just got hurt, so
Well, right, but
that might, I don't know how long he's out for or what it
injuries
is,
do
but
happen. But I mean, like Dean Wade has been playing well for them,
yeah,
off the bench, and
yeah,
like Georges Niang has given them good minutes. Karis LeVert, it's the most I've ever liked Karis LeVert.
I
Um,
know.
and this kid Ty Jerome off the bench is like getting minutes and playing
Yeah.
well and stuff like that. So,
No,
no,
their bench has been great.
yeah,
They're just playing as great as a team, and like you said, at both ends of the floor. So that's the secret, and and they're doing a hell of a job, man.
yeah.
Obviously, 14-0. So
Right.
keep it
And I mean,
rolling.
and you look at the East, I mean, like, obviously Boston is still really good, but
Boston's 10-3.
yeah, 11-3 now. But the Knicks have gotten off to a rocky start. I think they'll be fine, you know. Um
Yeah, I mean, and they're one of my. We'll get to them in a bit because they're
yeah,
one of
yeah.
my
Let's
sort of
hold that.
borderline
Yeah,
disappointments.
hold that thought. But I mean, Orlando's been fine, but again, they haven't been great.
They've
Indiana
been disappointing. They've
hasn't.
been disappointing.
Well, and I mean, it's 12 games in the year. Let's take a breath here. But
Yeah.
I agree. Like Orlando's 8-6, they're fine. Indiana's been a mild disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Philly's been a complete mess, who we'll
Ooh.
talk about in a minute.
Yep.
Um, but like the East is wide open. It kind of feels
Wide
like
open.
as good as Boston is at the top there. So yeah,
Yep.
Cleveland's got a real path to like either a 1 or a 2 seed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, when you start the season 14-0, I mean, hey man, like even if they go 500 the rest of the way, they're going to be like maybe the 1 or 2 seed. Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's some really good players on that team, and they're playing great, man. Like they deserve to be the best in the East right now.
Yeah. And we're gonna do some honorable mentions here too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So they get my vote. Cleveland gets my vote as the
Yeah,
best
me
team,
too. Me too.
right?
Let's go to another team though, because
I
we
would go next to Phoenix. They're my second biggest surprise.
well,
I
I
didn't
mean, like
think they'd be that
we
great.
both have the same teams. Like we
Oh
pre-talked.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We
No.
agreed on
All right. Okay. Yeah.
it.
Let's do Phoenix then. Let's do Phoenix because yeah,
Yeah,
Phoenix is our
I
next.
mean, what's impressed me is they're right now they're 9-4. They're fifth in the West. I predicted them to be like a borderline playing team. I just don't think that they were playing good basketball at the end of last year or even at the beginning of this year. And then all of a sudden they got hot. And I mean, I guess it's KD and Booker. And I mean, I don't know.
It's been
I don't
Kate
know.
Durant's been fantastic. I mean, the
Yeah.
guy
Now,
is.
he's out for a week or something, but
Yeah, but I mean, he's shooting right now 55% from the field, 43% from three, and 83% from the free throw line. He's averaging 27 points a game. Like the guy's, I mean, he's almost as old as LeBron.
I know.
Um, like, and it's funny, like, I think and just Steph, who we'll talk about in a second too, with
Yeah.
Steph, because what LeBron is doing is so insane,
Yeah.
it's kind of overlooked that, like, Durant and Curry are both in their late 30s as well, and they're
Yep.
still both playing at like an elite level.
Yep.
And it's totally overshadowed. No, Durant's been awesome.
He's been
Um,
awesome.
Booker's always good. His scoring's a
Yep.
little bit down this year. Beal has been better for them this year.
Yep.
But like they made us. I love the Tyus Jones pickup in the offseason, just
Hmm.
given how screwed they were with the cap, to be able to bring him in on a minimal deal. Like he's a serviceable point guard, and that's a guy they didn't have on the roster last year.
Hmm.
At least he's like a guy who can play the one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
They're still weak in the middle, though.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they are weak in the middle, but I mean, Ryan Dunn, this kid Ryan Dunn, he's like,
I like Ryan Dunn.
yeah, he's been a defensive menace. He still can't
Yep.
shoot. They got Coach Bud now, and the coaching carousel. Did I just lose
Oh
you?
my God.
Did I just lose you with Coach Bud?
Oh, I have
No,
issues with him.
he's doing a good job. I think Phoenix is a little bit of a flash in the pan. They're 9-4 right
Yeah,
now. They
yeah,
play tonight in Minnesota, so we'll see what happens there. But
yeah, yeah,
um, statistically, they don't like we just talked about the Cleveland profile, right, and how awesome
yeah.
they've been. Phoenix isn't exactly the same story. Like they're 16th in offense, they're 15th in defense.
Hmm.
Um,
Middle of the pack.
and
So that
all
projects. So that ultimately that projects like a playoff team or just above that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, like they've won a couple games because of their ability to score late in the game, but
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
like there's stats across the board. I'm not going to list them all. I'm looking at them now though. Are
It's
pretty middle of the pack.
unsustainable.
Yeah, and I mean, like I again just looking at the West, the West is so good. Like I mean, I think they'll
Uh,
come back down to earth a little bit, but they have
yeah,
been surprising.
yeah,
They're 9-4.
yeah. No, good for them.
Can I throw in an honorable mention since we're talking about these teams right now?
Well, we have to get to the third one, the third surprise, and which is you kind of mentioned it, Golden State.
Okay. And then we'll do
Um,
some honorable mentions
and then
after that.
we'll do
Yeah, okay. What's your
honorable
take?
mention.
What's your
You
take
can go.
on
You
the
can say
wait, what was that word you just tried to say?
honorable rule.
Um, yeah. Okay, let's see. The Warriors,
Yep,
they're what,
10-2.
11-2, and they've had some big wins. Like
Yeah.
they beat Boston on the road.
Well,
Um,
that's they're 6-1 on the road, Eddie.
I
Like
know, I know.
what?
That Clay game was a really awesome game against Dallas.
Yep.
Um, they're playing like 11 guys.
Yeah.
And now some I don't know if that's sustainable. I think they're one of those, early like first half good story kind of teams.
Hmm.
I don't buy them as a true contender. Um, but I mean
I don't even.
Steph is still shooting the shit out of the ball. He shooting 43% from three,
Yep.
95% from the line. Buddy
Yep.
Healed, our guy Buddy Healed.
Oh my God.
He's averaging 18 points a game, man. Wiggins looks way
I was
better.
watching him the other night. I mean, like he kept draining threes. I'm like, somebody guard that guy.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
oh
Buddy
my
Healed.
God.
Buddy Hield,
Fucking Buddy
Ball
Hield.
Boys Hall of Famer.
Oh my
Buddy
God, I
Hield.
hate that guy.
I love Buddy. I love Buddy Hield.
Yeah, but how many teams has he played on?
I
26
know he's a
now?
journeyman, but whatever. He can fill it
Man,
up, dude. He can shoot the ball.
he sure can.
Shoot the fucking rock, man. Wiggins has looked better. Draymond's playing the best basketball he's played
Ooh,
in
Wiggins has
years.
looked better. Woohoo.
He is. He's
Yeah.
looking, and Draymond's playing good ball. They love this kid Pajemski and
I
like
like him.
Trace Jackson Davis.
I like him.
Is a good young player.
I like the young guys, Eddie. I just, I'm sick of that team, man. Like, they burned and crashed and burned and whatever you want to call it years ago, and like, I thought Draymond was washed. He pretty much is. I
He's
mean,
not
Clay
though.
left. I mean,
He's not washed
Steph
though.
Look, Steph is Steph, right? He's the most elite and best shooter in the history of the game. So he's still going to be great until he retires. Um,
But
but
dude, but Draymond's not washed, man. Like he is still arguably the best defensive player in the NBA. I mean, I'm serious. The guy he anchors their defense, man, and he's
yeah,
like he can guard every single position. He switches everything. I mean, like and they're fourth in defense and fourth in offense right now. That
mm,
fourth in defense, they're giving up 109 points a game. Like that's all Draymond Green. I'm sorry, it
mm,
is you
mm,
know and like the shit that he's doing, man, like the switching, covering guys asses, like though the reason why Steph has been able to be so good for so many years is because he's got Draymond covering his ass,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
um
So okay, I have a question for you. What's your opinion of Steve?
Kerr,
Yeah.
I love Steve Kerr.
I love Steve Kerr too, but like I don't know, something changed in the Olympics with him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. For me, he's a different guy. I don't know.
Well, I
I don't
mean,
know.
he's got his
Is
team
he
playing good
or is he? I don't
basketball.
know.
He's got his like I said, they're 10-2. They could be 11-2 when you're listening to this podcast. I mean, like they're playing really good ball, and the stats back it up. I think out of those three teams, I think Cleveland's legit. I think
Yes.
Phoenix and the Warriors are a little bit more of a farce, but
Yep.
we'll see. I mean,
I
like,
agree.
the Warriors are deep, man. They got a
Yeah,
lot
oh
of
yeah.
guys. Now,
Oh no, I know. I like the young. Listen, like I said, I like the young guys on that team.
I think
So
they're a trade candidate. Like, I mean, the Heat are just itching to trade Jimmy Butler. You can see it.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
they don't have it this year, and
No.
like the Warriors would be a perfect, like, let's consolidate three of these young guys and go get Jimmy Butler. Like, would you
Yep.
do Wiggins contract with like, Pajemski and
Trace Jackson.
Trace Jackson and a pick or something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
or and two picks for Jimmy, and then
Yeah.
you say, fuck it, let's load up because I mean, like, they do have Steph on a clock here, right? Like he's not getting any younger, and like,
Mhm.
do they want to try to get the most out of this last? I mean, if they look at it and say, "Hey, we have a chance to win another title," like why not? Um,
Conceivable.
yeah, but they've been really impressive. And
Yep.
that game the other night, Clay's return was awesome,
It
awesome game.
was. That was a great game. I watched it.
Um,
It was a great game.
okay,
Yeah.
honorable mentions. Who do you got?
Honorable mentions
You got
for surprises.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what sticks out for me? Houston.
I was gonna say the same thing.
They're 9-4, man. Like, what the fuck is going on in Houston?
My Rockets, baby, let's go.
They're playing great, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's amazing. All the young guys are like really blossoming at the same time.
Jalen
Uh,
Green. I'm taking credit for this, man, because I called this before the season. You can go back and
Sengun's
listen.
been great.
Yep.
Freddie's been really solid.
Fucking Freddie. He drives me crazy. But
Oh, I know.
no, I mean,
But
like, dude, I'll tell you the reason why. It's Jalen Green, man.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
Jalen Green and Sengun are their two
Yeah,
best players. Freddie's been all right. Freddie's been Freddie.
yeah,
13,
yeah,
13 points a game, six
yeah,
assists, four boards.
yeah.
But they have a ton of talent, man. Like,
Yes, they
and
do.
like Reed Shepard will start getting more minutes as the season goes on. But I
Yeah,
mean, Amen Thompson looks more comfortable this year.
yeah.
Cam Whitmore is getting playing time.
Hmm.
Tari Eason is a really good player. Jabari has been really good.
He's
They got
been
a lot of
great.
dudes, man. But I mean,
Yeah,
Jalen Green he's taken a next step in
yeah.
his maturity. And yeah, I like that's a playoff team.
It's kind of like he reminds me of what Ant-Man did in Minnesota, like same kind of thing. He's at that stage of the development where he's just on the cusp of doing what Anthony Edwards did in Minnesota and to become
Last
a
year,
really,
I think he's
yeah,
a couple years behind, but yeah, he's on that trajectory. Like you
he's
can
on
see
that
it, like
trajectory is what I'm saying. Yeah,
he's a special scorer. And
yeah, he is.
and I mean, like, Houston's got a ton of talent. Like they're
Yeah,
9-4 right now as well, and like so they're tied with the Lakers
yep.
and Phoenix in that sort of 3, 4, 5 spot. Like
Houston
this is a
right now
playoff
is in third. Yeah, Houston's in the third spot right now.
team. Well,
So
yeah,
like,
they're all tied, but
yeah,
like they're a playoff team.
yeah,
This team's gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna win a lot
yeah.
of games
Oh
this year.
yeah.
I
Oh, I
like
like Houston. I really and you know what? I've always hated in the history of my watching basketball and supporting basketball.
yeah, you're a
Um,
Houston guy.
Houston has always been a team that I hate because they beat the Lakers
Yeah,
a
you're a
bunch of
Lakers
times.
fan.
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan, so I
Hey,
hate Houston.
played them in a bunch of
But
series
there's
and
no
stuff.
denying Houston is playing great, and I really like all the young guys that you mentioned on that team. They're stacked with young guys that are really really good.
Totally,
So
totally.
yeah,
Okay, let's move this along a little faster.
yep,
Okay. So we're doing disappointments.
yep,
We got to, I want to end with the team, the most interesting team here to talk about. So let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves.
okay,
They're 7-6 right now.
yep,
A little bit of a championship hangover, I'd say, or championship hangover, deep run
yep,
hangover. You know, like they're still they they're feeling it for sure. They still
yeah,
can't drive. You know, they're,
yeah,
they're still in bed popping Advils
yeah,
and
yeah,
wondering what happened to their phone last night.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a new team. They got to implement Orange Julius, and
yep.
obviously Cat's been playing great ball in New
Hmm.
York.
New York.
But I mean, like they lost Slow Mo, who was weirdly kind of important for them last year. It's
Hmm.
it's a it's a little bit of a different team defensively. I think defensively with Cat and Gobert, they were
Yep.
awesome, and I haven't felt that this year.
Yeah.
And I just don't quite know what their identity is. Obviously, Ant is great, but
Yep.
to me, they might be taking a step back this year.
They definitely have, and yeah, you can see it in guys like Jaden McDaniels, for example.
Mhm.
He was their defensive specialist last year,
He's been
and he's
terrible.
played terrible,
Yeah.
like on both ends of the floor. He's been terrible defensively, and I think like he scored 19 points the other day, a couple of games ago, but he hasn't even broken double digits the whole season
Yeah.
practically. Like he's been horrible. So guys like that, and their bench has been horrible. The loss of Cat really, I think, discombobulated the whole team. It's obviously Anthony Edwards' team, but Gobert's not an offensive guy. So where's the offense coming from? Edwards and who else? Like
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like they're fucked.
they are.
Uh, I don't see them doing anything this year. I mean, yeah, maybe they'll make the playoffs, but because of Edwards but they're not a championship team this year, I don't think.
No.
They look horrible.
No, yeah, and like I said, and it's great. Now, like I said, I'll give him some time. I do like Dante DiVincenzo, although again, I mean, I'm not quite sure when he turned into prime Vinny Johnson, but apparently he is because people talk about him like he is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's calm down. This guy's been a shitty player his whole life.
We got to get DiVincenzo. Come
Right?
on.
Yeah. Like, I mean, oh, I mean, hey, they do have DiVincenzo. Cool.
Oh my
Right.
God. Championship.
Right. And I've never been the biggest Julius Randle fan, Orange Julius, as I like to call him.
Hey, he's like, I mean, I love Carmelo, but
Yeah, he's poor man's Carmelo. He's a poor man's
yeah,
Carmelo.
I mean, you throw the ball into him and you never see it again. It's
Never
like
again. It's never coming back. He's the kind of guy that you hate playing pickup basketball with.
Yeah,
Like, oh
yeah.
fuck, this guy. All
Yeah, this
right.
guy, oh fuck. Yeah, he's gonna take every shot that you give him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be standing in the corner all day.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Something doesn't smell right with the T-Wolves this year. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have it, sometimes you don't. Anybody else? Who else do we want to talk about disappointments?
Okay. Well, I got Philly and the Bucks. Who do you
Oh
want to
yeah,
go?
okay. Right. So Philly, we're saving for the last.
Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah.
Let's do the
Bucks.
Milwaukee thing. They
Okay.
have won a couple games here. They're
They're 4-9, Eddie.
Yeah.
They lost to Charlotte the other night. I was so happy, man. I watched that.
I know. I love hate watching the Bucks.
I hate the Bucks. Listen, that team is old and creaky. Hey, Giannis is still doing his thing. He's still magnificent. But the rest of the team is awful. Like Lopez is washed.
Yeah.
Middleton hasn't played, I don't think. Gary Trent Jr. He's coming off the bench and he looks horrible.
Yeah.
Like the whole team. Oh my God! I mean, it's just it's cringeworthy.
I know,
and like that team is in trouble, man.
The Gary Trent thing, like I don't know what happened to that guy because he was pretty good a couple of years ago in Toronto, like a decent 3-and-D, get a lot of steals, hit some shots, kind of secondary scorer. I don't know what's his confidence.
Well, he's not getting the playing time, right? So
or the touches. And you're right. I mean, like defensively, they can't stop anybody, man. Like,
no.
And this was
they lost to Charlotte, man. They couldn't get stops against Charlotte,
right? And you go back 3 years ago when they won the title, like that was their calling card. It was this wall of defense with Lopez and Giannis and Holiday, right?
Yeah,
and they don't.
Holiday was a huge loss when they lost him.
Well, yeah, and look, I think they had to make they had to do it. They had to make the swing. I think they felt like, that team had kind of gone as far as it was going to go. They lost to Miami in the first round that year, you remember?
Yeah.
And they just kind of felt like they had to shake it up. But the Dame experiment just hasn't worked out. Dame has still puts up big stats like once every 3 games. He'll go for 35, but he can't guard anybody anymore. He was never a great defensive player. Now it's just like, forget it. So, that's the issues that's the issue they're having. And it's just, there's too many holes on defense. Chris Middleton will help a little bit because he plays hard when he comes back. But I mean, like, who knows if he's going to be the same guy? He's had so many injuries.
Oh,
he's
my
old
God.
too.
That guy's always hurt. Like
he's always hurt. And I'm a Chris Middleton apologist, as you know. I like Chris Middleton. I think he's a good player, but he's always hurt. You're cringing at me. This is one of our.
He's always hurt. I've never liked him, but he's always hurt, so I can't judge it. Right? I mean, like, how could you judge?
But I mean, Dame, like, I've always loved Dame Lillard, but like, he just doesn't have it anymore.
Oh no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't have it. And
defensively, and like
defensively, no, forget it.
And the rumblings about Giannis getting traded,
he's a big hole on defense. No, that team's in trouble.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, like, and we talked about how the West is like, if you're bad in the West, you're in serious trouble. The East, I mean, like the Bucks are. Hold on, I'm pulling up the standings right now.
4-9.
4-9, but they're only a game out of a playoff spot right now. They're 2 games. They're 2 games out of the 6th seed, right? So like everybody take a deep breath.
Okay, so starting 4-9 and with the team like the way they're playing. I mean, is this a playoff team or are they like?
I think they'll make the playoffs.
Are they on the bubble? Like, are they a play-in team?
No, they'll make the.
They
they'll be
might be
fine.
the best of the crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
but
they
Dad, I
might
mean, come
be
on. Like, look, right now, Atlanta's in the 5 seed. They're 6-7. That's not going to last. Miami's in the
no
6 seed. They're 5-6. Like, I think the Bucks will, when it all shakes out, they will be better than a 500 team. They'll be in the
7 or 8.
I think they'll be like a 5 or 6 seed.
Oh, I don't think it's that high. No,
I
no, no,
think,
no, no.
dude, last year they started off the year terribly and they ended up winning 50 games. Like, they'll
Uh,
win 45 to 50 games.
I
Giannis is
just
too
don't see
good.
that, Eddie.
Giannis is too good.
Giannis is great, but again, like the rest of the team is crap. Really, they're crumbling.
Yeah, but the East is crap too, right? Like, dude, I mean,
Yeah.
like, dude, look at some of these teams, man. Like, it's
Oh,
there's
I
a
know, I know,
lot of
I
bad
know, I know.
teams.
So just on the basis of that, yeah, they might get the 5th or 6th seed
Yeah,
just because
right.
everyone else is really shit. So
Totally. But they're not a
yeah,
contender.
yeah. No, they're
And
not a contender.
the most interesting team to start the year is definitely the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh yeah,
So we
oh
gotta
yeah,
talk about them too.
yeah,
So they're 2-10,
yeah.
and it's been
I
awful.
couldn't be happier.
Oh, actually, hold on. Just on the Bucks quickly. Um, where would you want him to get traded if they trade him? What would be the funnest
Duh,
place?
duh.
Well, okay,
Toronto.
but like realistic
Well,
options.
I was okay. So I was reading something online today. Okay, so if the possibility came up so that the Bucks traded Giannis to Toronto, Toronto would have to give up Scotty.
Yeah,
They'd have to give up quickly.
yeah.
They'd probably have to give up Dick. No, maybe not Dick. Quickly, Scotty, and maybe 2 or 3 draft number 1 picks in the future.
It would have to be Scotty. I would say Scotty, Grady, Dick, and like 3 picks,
Yeah,
something like
to
that.
get
But
him.
here's the
Now,
thing, though, Dad. It's never
would
gonna
that
happen because why would Giannis want to come here?
because Masai is his
No,
godfather.
sorry, no. Like Giannis does not want to go to a shittier team than he's on. So
Mm,
like look, you know how this thing goes. When he gives his list of demands, he's going to give them 5 teams, and I'll tell you who's going to be on those 5 teams. It's going to be Miami because everybody always wants to go to Miami. It'll
right.
be the Knicks,
Yeah.
um, Dallas,
Lakers?
potentially the Lakers, or anyway, it's going to be one of those teams, right?
Hmm.
He's always had ties to Dallas, and like, could they go, hey, we're going to give you.
Can you imagine Luka and Giannis on the same team?
That would be pretty fucking sick.
Oh my God.
That would be my choice.
Wow. Wow.
Or like the Knicks. But I mean, the
Yeah,
Knicks
but who
don't
would
have.
Dallas have to give up to get him? I mean,
Well, I mean,
Kyrie?
I think so. So what you do is like I've been thinking about this a lot. You have to. It's got to be a 3-way trade,
Right.
and I
You got to
think,
send Kyrie somewhere.
yeah, this is the thing, right? And Houston is my 3-way trade team because
Ah,
Houston is begging for like we just mentioned how much young talent they have. They need to trade like 3 guys for a
yep.
superstar. So
Yep.
like, what if it was like, hey, Amen Thompson, Reed Shepard, and Cam Whitmore, and Freddie. Oh no, okay. Or you could do like Freddie goes to Dallas,
Hmm.
right? And then 3 of their young guys go to the Bucks. Houston gets Kyrie, and then Dallas and maybe somebody else like Kyrie and PJ Washington, and
Hmm.
then Dallas gets Giannis.
It's Giannis.
Something like that, where like
Yeah.
basically Houston gives up a bunch of their young, the Bucks get a bunch of young guys and picks from Houston.
Yep.
Um,
That could
Dallas
work.
gets Giannis, and then
Yep.
Houston gets Kyrie and like PJ Washington, so that it's like now we got Kyrie and Jalen Green and whatever, and
Right.
that's kind of
So yeah, yeah, yeah. Which it's interesting because so then you start thinking realistically about the Raptors' trajectory from being
why do you keep talking
probably
about the
the
Raptors? They stink.
Probably, well, because this has
They're the worst
implications on
team
the
in the
Raptors, like
league.
not getting their modus operandi based on Kawhi Leonard was to establish to build up a really good team over a couple of years, and then when a superstar becomes available, you pounce on them. But now, like, who's the superstar they would pounce on? They're not yet ready to pounce on anybody yet, because they're a 2-10 team, and they're going to be just horrible for the next couple of years.
Right.
But when they get better, like, who are they going to target?
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine.
Okay,
hey,
let's talk
man,
about
that's
Philly.
great.
Let's talk about Philly because I want to. Okay. We're running too long here.
Yeah.
All right, so the Sixers are 2-10. We just mentioned they've been awful this season
for a couple of reasons, right? Okay,
well, yeah,
injuries, right?
They're banged up.
Injuries has killed them, right? Maxi's hurt. Embiid has been hurt. And here's
Paul
the
George
other thing.
has been hurt.
Who?
Paul George has been hurt.
Oh yeah, George has been hurt. I mean, they've been so banged up, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's kind of hard to judge them. To be fair, like because everybody's been hurt. Having said that, there's some weird shit going on. I
was going to say the second reason is Embiid. I mean, he's a nut bar, man. Like,
well, he's out of shape, and he's always hurt. Like, do you have any trust that this guy's going to be playing in May? I don't know.
And plus he got suspended for 3 games for getting in that shoving match with a reporter.
Yeah, he punched a reporter.
Yeah. Because he was digging into his mom and his sister.
To be fair, I read it. It was a stupid article.
Was it?
It was a stupid article.
Right.
No, no. This is what happened. He brought up his son and his dead brother.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much for no reason. Like
right.
just to be nasty, basically.
Right.
He was making a point about like not putting 100% in and not trying and like I don't know, like not having, not coming to work giving 100% every day. And he was like, how would your dead brother feel if you watched what you're doing? It was something along those lines. It's like
that's nasty.
It was just kind of like
justified then.
So it was justified. It was a stupid comment the reporter made. Right. Having said that, like the vibes are just smelly around this team, man. Ooh. What happened to Nick Nurse? I thought that guy could coach.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea.
He just looks lost in translation right now.
Yeah,
a forlorn look on his face. It reminds me of like oh god,
he bitches. He fell into this thing where he
bitches about everything.
Bitching about everything to the refs. That's and that became his modus operandi for years, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And that's all he does now is just bitch to the refs. Like that's his coaching. Like,
and he's always got this kind of dumbfounded look on his face.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a bad call, he's looking around. Makes me laugh. I enjoy that. I don't know, man. Like I said, like they're in trouble with injuries, but like I mean, they're 2-10, and as bad as the East is, they got to start winning some games here. I always picked them to win the title.
If they keep on this trajectory, I mean, we talked about.
They're not going to keep on this trajectory. They will start winning games.
Yeah, but I mean, this puts them in a big hole, man. Like, totally. They're going to have to work really hard to even make the playoffs. So good luck.
Again,
I don't think they're going to do it, but
again, like just for context, they're 3.5 games out of the 6th seed right now. So, like,
Yeah, okay.
We do have to, like I said, let's take a breath a little bit. Like they're not.
Yeah.
I have a cat joining us right now.
Oh, who's that? What's his name?
I'll keep this in. It's Ollie.
Ollie. Hey, Ollie.
It's Ollie the cat. Yeah, there he goes. He's he wants to talk about the Sixers, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's a Sixer fan, huh?
Well, the Sixers are what he just showed on camera there. A big old butthole.
Yeah, so they are.
Oh man. All right, we got to go.
Okay. Oh, very quickly. Yeah. Okay. What's your pick for the Grey Cup?
Well, we can't do this because the podcast is going to come out after the Grey Cup. But whatever.
Who cares?
All right. Bombers.
It's Canada's Super Bowl.
Bombers.
Yeah.
Me too. Bombers are going to win. Okay, we'll check in next week, Dad. Maybe the Raptors will lose more games. Definitely, they will.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag, here we come.
Yeah, tank for Cooper, baby. Tank for Cooper. All right. See you later.
Peace.